So welcome back to another install video, and in today's video we're going to be installing the Perrin intake. If you guys have been around on my channel, you guys know that I have a Cobb intake from 2 years ago. It is pretty much the first modification that I did with my car, including the access port. But ever since I installed the Perrin intercooler, my Cobb intake does not fit at all. So this is my Cobb intake right here. Right, it used to be a box that actually sat right here in this big hole. Ever since I did the Perrin front mount intercooler, this wouldn't actually fit in here, so I ended up cutting this whole piece. This piece probably got all the way to here. I have to cut this whole piece and kind of, make it fit. So this piece is not even like, I mean, it's tight now, but it's not made to be cut this small, so it's not, it doesn't really fit. And to help with engine bay, heat, I bought the Perrin intake, which actually sits down here. And before you say anything, I know that I don't have any fender liner, it will get wet, all that stuff. I have a fender liner coming soon to actually cover my fender liner, kind of like racing, kind of like broke my fender liner, so I kind of cut part of the fender liner, and then I don't have no fender liners on both sides. But fender liner is coming soon, and I'm going to be installing that to actually protect the intake. Installation should be fairly simple. It is just basically an intake. I mean, intakes are pretty easy unless you get the stock intake. The stock intake air box, you probably have to take some more bolts off than just this, which is just kind of like a pipe and a filter, and that's pretty much it. But there's something really important that you need with the Perrin intake, and I really thought that I didn't have it, and it's actually the stock air box. You actually need a piece from the stock air box that I'm going to show you right now. So luckily I had my stock air box at home, hiding somewhere, because I had maybe wanted to sell it to someone somewhere. But this little bolt right here, that little bolt is this little part right here that actually sits in the frame and keeps it bolted to the frame. So this little part right here is needed because Perrin doesn't give it to you, so you have to use this little stock thing to use with the Perrin bracket. So this is the Perrin bracket right here. This is actually what it's needed. This is like the little hardware here, and you need to install that little piece into this, which is going to be sitting in the frame of the car somehow, and then this bolts onto the intake. So this is what I'm actually trying to, this is what I mean right here. That little piece, that bracket, goes with that little stuck rubber mount in there to go into a piece right here, this little bolt hole here, so the actual intake tube will be nice and sturdy and won't be flapping around like, well, this one doesn't do it too much because I don't have that much hose here, but this one, it does move. See, it's like that. If I go racing and stuff like that, it does shake a lot. The Perrin filter is actually pretty massive. It is way bigger than this one right here. So let me see if I can put it somewhere on top. Well, I can. I guess I'll do it later. Alright, so I got the old Cobb intake off. I've already installed this little portion right here. So just follow the instructions. You have to put 2 of the washers on the bottom, and then you put that nut on top, just like this. Now we are going to take this little bolt that Perrin provides you with one of the washers, and we're going to go right here. We're going to go to the old hole, which is right there, which is the one that is threaded, and you're going to install it like this and thread the bolt in. So just like this. So I have it loose. I don't want to tighten it up yet, just in case, but there you have it. Now let me show you the difference between the Cobb intake and the Perrin intake. That is a huge difference in sizes. All right, now I'm gonna move along to installing basically the intake. So Perrin does provide you with the coupler and this nice little, these are really good clamps. I love these clamps. These are, you know, 10mm bolt and just tightened up as much as you can. So I'm gonna put this part into the inlet, and then install, basically I'm gonna put this with the intake, yeah, with the filter first, and then slide it in basically, and then just bolt up right here, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna do that right now, and then we just call it a day.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I actually have it all installed, but I actually ran into one little small problem. And it's not a problem that you guys might run into, but it's actually a problem that I ran into because I have a aftermarket overflow tank, and I'm gonna show you. So here's the intake installed. It's pretty simple. There's one little slight problem, I would say. It's really tight fit. It's actually touching the intercooler piping down there, with the bracket down here. I actually had to like lift it up even higher, which actually makes it, I mean, it's pretty sturdy here, right there, because it's nice and bolted down there, very tight. This is nice and tight, this is nice and tight, but it's actually kind of just slightly is touching the pipe down there. I feel like maybe the filter is so massive. If the filter was just a tad smaller, it will probably fit without touching it, but the filter is so massive that it's touching just a tiny little bit. Now this is where my other problem goes to. I have chase base overflow tank that actually sits right around here, but now because this part right here, the overflow is actually touching the sensor right there, and I can't really twist it this way because then it won't fit on the bracket right here, but I have it bolted here, and then right now if I try to sit it here, it's actually touching the sensor right there. So I don't know what to do now. I'm trying to find a spot for this, and I'm throwing coolant all around. Trying to find a spot for my overflow tank to go right here, and yeah, this is not the video for my overflow tank, it's just for the intake. So yeah, it's pretty simple to install. It's I mean, it's only like probably like 3 steps. Well, only if you don't have the intake airbox. But it's very simple to actually do. I don't see anybody going through any problems unless you have overflow tank like I do. Maybe you know, like the front mount, maybe if I don't know if it's somehow needs to go like deeper or something, but I've tried to wiggle in any other way, but with the bracket, with the bracket it only goes to like certain spots. You can move it up and down, kind of side to side a little bit, but it doesn't seem like I can actually center it in there that actually will fit without touching the piping. I could probably play with the piping a little bit more, but play with the piping a little bit more might hit part of my frame down there. But overall it's there, and yeah, that's the installation for the Perrin intake. So I am going to leave it here with this little quick installation for the Perrin intake. I'm gonna figure it out my overflow tank by myself later on in a little bit, because I actually gotta go to work. And yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, just leave me a comment below. I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. If you like this video, just give me a thumbs up, and if you are not a subscriber, just consider subscribing to this video for more videos, more installations like this for the 17 STI, and also 19 WRX. With that being said, I got nothing else for you guys. I'll see you guys on the next video.